It all started at 1 a.m., where Fork and I decided to explore the surroundings. These are probably our favorite things to do here in Alaska. We sailed into a small bay. And at first we didn't notice anything special. But then in front of our boat, something flew straight out of the water into the sky. And then we realized that we were quietly surrounded on all sides. I am a big fan of facts, especially if these are interesting facts. That's why it's very difficult to edit this film. I know he's talking about salmon fishing, not about the salmon itself, because in my opinion, this is one of the most interesting fish in the world. I can't talk about her, I don't know, for hours probably, but let's at least give them a minute. I'll try to speak very quickly. Let's start with that he can survive both in salty and in fresh water. They are born in fresh water and live there from several months to several years before they head out to sea. And then after a few years, return to fresh water to spawn. Very few fish can boast of this. But what fascinates me most is their travels. For my life, they cover 1,000 kilometers. And in one day they can even walk up to 50 kilometers. Not a little for one fish, yes, but it gets even more interesting. As I already said, salmon return to spawn instead of being born. Overcoming river rapids, strong currents and all sorts of predators. Poor fish should return not just to a freshwater body, somewhere there in my area, namely to a specific place. Where was she born? And I always considered myself a hero, so that wherever I am, I always return to my native Moscow region once a year. Scientists have long tried to understand how do fish find their small homeland with such precision. It turned out that they navigate by the magnetic field. There is also a version, the truthfulness of which makes this fish even more unique. Some scientists believe that they find their way back by smell. Fork how to say, a fish. Very fish haha. What? After this day, we were eager to make a film about salmon. Moreover, Will was a fisherman here in Alaska for 6 whole seasons. I remember that time, when we first met. And he had to go to Alaska to fish. And he was in the ocean without communication for several months. This is him and his Captain Zack on the Queen Tina ship. It seemed to us that this episode will be very easy to film. Because, well, the Fork knows. But there is still something we didn't take into account. And since we are far from all civilization, then of course it catches here very, very rarely. In other words, it's as hard to find it here as it is to find a needle in a haystack. Our goal was just to get out of the bay, in the hope that our phones and Zack's will have reception. And then he will tell us where he is. We immediately, as we left the bay, we came across an interesting guest. We are. Anita told us where to look for the West. The only problem is that it will take us 2 days to get there. I hope he will still be there by then. Well, for now we're sailing. Here are a couple more interesting facts about salmon in Alaska. Let's start with that there are 5 species of salmon in Alaska. For when and most commercial fishermen catches pink salmon, there is most of it here, and it is mainly used for canned food. But no matter what video we are talking about, the most important thing is that all salmon in Alaska are wild. What is it these days, in case of overfishing? This is a huge rarity. The locals are very proud and appreciate this fact, that they have wild salmon. They follow all laws and regulations. God forbid the number starts to decrease. That day we walked for about 8 hours and decided to anchor in a bay surrounded by mountains, which provides protection from the wind and allows you to sleep well, and meet Zack in the morning, which in theory should be not far from us. Every time when we think he will be somewhere in this area, a message comes and he's like, "Oh, and actually I'm here and now fishing." So this morning it turned out that it was 6 hours ways from us. I hope in the evening let's swim to it, but there is no wind yet. You can enjoy the hammock. I'm for Carrie Williams, commercial fisherman from Alaska. And this is my fishing boat Caventina. There is nothing more comfortable than a boat that can survive the storm. And there is nothing more terrible when this does not happen. Ha ha. I am currently sitting at an altitude of 50 meters. And I look at the 1,000-foot high mountains. It's just indescribable. Truly indescribable. In 1980, at the end of the first season, we became commercial fishermen. And it was a complete disaster. And I remember my father saying, "I'm sure you're a son. Entered the top 10 worst boats. Moreover, I don't know anyone who was worse than you. I've had enough reproaches." I said then, "Well, I'll improve." And he is like this, "I'm not disappointed in you, son. I'm just celebrating that we were at rock bottom and still made a profit." And my father just rubbed his hands and said, "We got into the right business. About 200 million salmon are caught here every year. And this industry brings in as much as $700 million. What does fishing do? Second largest earning industry after oil." So we woke up early in the morning. We stopped at Anchor. And about 10 minutes from Zack. They start fishing at 8 o'clock. Fishing is only possible for 12 hours. And on certain days. When these specific days come, no one knows. But for example, the day before fishing they're told on the radio, "Okay, tomorrow you can go fishing." It's always 12 o'clock in different places. Moreover, if suddenly after 12 hours the net is still in the water, they could face a huge fine. To be honest, I waited for this day of filming for a very long time. After all these years I have heard so many stories from Billa. And now for the first time I will be able to plunge into his world and see it live. How does it all happen? In simple words, do you have a school of fish? Net and big boat. You also have a small boat. And it's as if she's pulling a net over the fish. And at the bottom of this net there is a rope, passing through a series of rings. And it covers the bottom of the mesh. It's like a rope bag. He also catches fish. Then when the fish is in the net you have to decide, was this place good? Or should it be changed after all? And sail somewhere else? Sometimes a catch weighing 2,000 kilograms turns out to be very good. On other days you know, that fishing is still open. But you are in the wrong place, there are no fish here. So all morning we were filming the sunset near this island. And now he suddenly said, "So the fish ran out here. Let's go to an island called Ladish. We are so good." But in reality he is fast, and we are slow. It's a 3-hour walk to Latusha Island for us. Come on, come on, come on. When you're fishing, you always have to be on your guard. Are you even in the right place? You can tell by the shape of the net in the water. And by the color of the water, then you see this short shimmer in the water. And you understand you are in the right place. That's where all the fish are. But of course not this time. He moves 2 times faster than us. Naturally, he won't wait for us, because they make money from every set. Somewhere between $3,000 and $6,000. That's why we're trying to hurry. And it started to rain. And naturally, doesn't make our job easier. Well, it seems to me that this is the story of our life, haha. What makes Alaska different from other places? The fact that for the most part people that you encounter in Alaska have a penchant for adventure. They have such an approach. Let's just go ahead and do it. These guys didn't sit around in college until their pants were holes and didn't chat about it. What are they going to do in life? They just bought a plane ticket and started living. This is how I can describe my team. It's like a coach who is putting together a football team. Every time you throw a net. This is a very dynamic job. A lot depends on the tides, and that's why you need a good captain and manager. They are obliged to work well together in a boat. Literally my right hand, which controls that end of the network. Dry is watching another part of the grid. Ben watches from his corner. They are not really my team. They are my friends, and we love to fish together. I'm glad Zack thinks so. Because for the pitchfork, he's practically like a second dad, and believes that he has achieved a lot in life thanks to him. Okay, enough sentimentality, it's time to go fishing. Okay, let's put it here. Every time you expose the network, you must have the right bait. And you have to trust your intuition. And then the jumpers come, and then you start to rejoice. But the excitement is growing because they are online. But how to keep them all there? I've never seen so much salmon in one place in my life. After 12 hours, all fishermen must swim to special large ships and hand over the catch. Thus, the Fish Protection Organization immediately understands how much was there that day caught, and when will it be possible to open a new day for fishing. And of course, by small boat, no need to return to the fort every time to pass the lesson. My favorite activity after a hard day at work. It's to drink a cocktail and go to bed. And also Zack is absolutely right. Each of us has a path. And as he said, don't sit on the floor, think about this path. And get up and walk on it. I sincerely wish this to all of us in the new year.